Welcome to the Deep Dive Cast. This is where we unpack the world's most impactful business and self-help bestsellers. Get ready to go beyond the pages and transform your life. Let's dive in.
Ever feel like you're just stuck? You've tried all the self-help hacks, maybe even achieved some success, but something still feels off.
Yeah, that nagging feeling like, is this all there is?
Exactly. So what if real effectiveness isn't about those trends, but about, seeing things differently, about building on solid principles?
Well, that's exactly what we're exploring today. Welcome to our deep dive into Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Right.
Today, we're really laying the groundwork. We'll look at Covey himself, the self-help scene he was pushing back against, and these core ideas of paradigms and principles.
Setting the stage for some, hopefully, profound shifts for you listening.
Definitely aiming for more than just tips.
Okay, so Stephen R. Covey, educator, businessman, the guy behind this massive book from 1989.
The massive is right. The 7 Habits sold millions. And get this, the audiobook. First nonfiction one ever to sell over 1 million copies in the U.S.
Wow. That really says something about the timing, doesn't it? People were ready for something different.
They were. And Covey wasn't just some business guru. He had this really interesting background. Harvard MBA, sure, but also a doctorate focused on organizational behavior and religious education from BYU.
So a blend of practical business sense and deeper ethical thinking, not just how-to lists.
Exactly. It gave his work a unique depth. He wasn't just offering hacks, he was building a philosophy. It wasn't about doing more, it was fundamentally about being different.
And that was pretty radical for the time, right? The late 80s self-help scene.
Oh, totally. It was all about what Covey called the personality ethic. Think quick fixes, looking good, projecting success. Jane Fonda workouts, diet crazes.
Stuff focused on the outside. Appearances.
Right. How to appear effective. Techniques, attitudes, public image. Covey saw it as potentially hollow. Symbol without substance, I think he called it.
So what was his alternative?
The character ethic.
Yeah.
This is about actually being effective. It focuses inward on deep changes rooted in timeless things like integrity, humility, courage, foundational virtues.
Not just putting on a good show.
Precisely. He had that great analogy.
Oh, the map one. Trying to navigate Chicago with a map of Detroit.
Yeah. It perfectly captures it. Doesn't matter how positive your attitude is or how hard you try. If your fundamental understanding, your map, is wrong, you're lost.
That ties straight into his idea of paradigms, doesn't it?
It really does. Paradigms are just the way we see the world, our mental maps. They dictate how we interpret everything.
And crucially, the map is not the territory. Our map isn't reality itself.
Exactly. And our attitudes, our behaviors, they all flow directly from these paradigms, these maps, which we often don't even question.
It's like that classic optical illusion. The old woman and the young woman in the same drawing.
Perfect example. 2 people look at the exact same data, the same image, and see completely different things.
And they can both be right based on their perception. It shows how powerful our internal map is.
Which leads to Covey's point. When we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. That shift in perspective, the paradigm shift, is key. It's the core of his inside-out approach.
Okay, so we have paradigms, our maps. What about principles? How are they different?
Good question. Principles, for Covey, aren't subjective like values can be. They're like external natural laws, universal truths.
Like fairness, integrity, honesty.
Yeah, exactly. Patience, human dignity, stuff like that. They govern human effectiveness, kind of like gravity governs physics. You don't invent them, you discover them. They're like compasses, always pointing true north.
Okay, so paradigms are our maps and principles are the compass. Got it.
Yeah.
How does this fit into personal growth? He talks about a continuum, right?
Yes, the maturity continuum. Think of it as an upward spiral. We start at dependence, sort of relying on others, maybe a bit of a victim mindset.
Blaming external factors.
Right. Then we move towards independence, self-mastery, taking control. I can do it, which is great. A major step.
But not the end goal.
Not for Covey. Independence is still limited, he says. It lacks that real, authentic connection with others. The ultimate goal is interdependence.
Working together, collaboration, synergy.
Exactly. Combining strengths to achieve more than any one person could alone. That's where true fulfillment and the highest effectiveness lie.
And the habits themselves map onto this.
They do, neatly. Habits 1, 2, and 3. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, they're about self-mastery. moving from dependence to independence. He calls this the private victory.
Mastering yourself first, inside out.
Precisely. Then habits 4, 5, and 6. Think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize those, build on independence. They're about working effectively with others, moving towards interdependence. That's the public victory.
And habit 7.
Sharpen the saw. That's continuous renewal, keeping everything working. It underpins the whole process. Always coming back to that inside-out approach. Master yourself before you try to lead or collaborate effectively.
It's really important to stress, though, these aren't quick fixes. Covey was clear on that.
Absolutely. These demand deep changes. He defined a habit as the intersection of 3 things: knowledge, what to do, why; skill, how to do it; and desire, wanting to do it.
So if you're struggling with a habit, you can ask yourself, am I missing the knowledge, the skill, or is it the motivation, the desire?
That's a great diagnostic tool right there.
So to wrap up this foundational dive, we've got Covey's rich background, the crucial difference between just appearing good, personality ethic, and actually being good, character ethic.
The power of our mental maps, our paradigms, and the unchanging compass of universal principles.
And this whole journey mapped out on the maturity continuum moving towards interdependence.
That's the bedrock we'll build on.
Okay, so before we go, here's something for you to chew on. Think about your own maps. Is there a recent disagreement, maybe a challenge you're facing, where your underlying paradigm might be shaping how you see it?
Can you spot a situation where maybe you're only seeing the old woman or only the young woman, just one side of the picture?
What might it look like to genuinely try and see the other perspective, the other woman in the drawing?
Really trying to shift that paradigm, even just mentally.
Definitely something to think about. Join us next time as we dive headfirst into Habit 1, be proactive. It's all about the incredible power of choice.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to pull out the key insights from important sources, fast. Today we're getting into a really foundational idea from Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Specifically, Habit 1, be proactive. It's all about becoming the scriptwriter of your own life. Our goal, to really understand that shift, from just reacting to life to actually consciously shaping your own path.
Right. And what's key about Covey's take on proactivity is it's more than just taking initiative. It's deeper. He talks about being responsible, that core ability we have to choose our response. And, well, in any situation, it's not just thinking positive thoughts. It's recognizing that gap, that little space between something happening and how we react. A lot of people just slam that gap shut instinctively. They rob themselves of choice. And honestly, this principle, it's the bedrock for all the other habits. Without this one, the others just don't land with the same impact.
Responsible. I like that framing. It really does sound like the key. But, okay, practically speaking, how do we actually do that? How do we stop being, pushed around by things and start being the designer? Maybe we can start by looking at the difference. Reactive versus proactive people. You know those days where everything just feels off? Reactive people, their whole mood, their actions feel controlled by outside stuff. If it's raining, they feel gloomy. If someone cuts them off in traffic, their day is ruined. They blame circumstances. They blame other people. They sort of just wait for things to happen to them. It's a bit like shouting at the news on TV, right? Pouring energy into stuff you absolutely cannot change. I've definitely done that.
Oh, absolutely. We all have.
Cool.
But the contrast is stark. Proactive people, they're guided more by their internal values. They understand that responsibility. They consciously put their energy into things they can actually influence. They take the initiative. They own their actions, their performance. They're accountable. So, take that tough day example. A reactive person might just fume about a deadline they missed, blaming the team, bad luck, whatever. A proactive person, though, they'd still feel the frustration, sure, but then they pivot. They ask, okay, what's my next step? What can I actually control here? Maybe it's just rescheduling or figuring out a new plan or talking to the team differently. It's a conscious choice of response.
So it really is about that choice.
Yeah.
Which brings us to that powerful idea you mentioned, the space between stimulus and response. Covey talks about it a lot, often linked to Viktor Frankl.
Yeah.
But isn't it really hard to find that space?
Yeah.
Especially when you're feeling stressed or under pressure.
It definitely takes practice. It's not always easy. But that space is our unique human thing, isn't it? The ability to just pause. Something happens, the stimulus, but instead of just reacting on instinct, we can stop, reflect, choose how we respond. Covey said it so well. Between stimulus and response lies a space. In that space lie our freedom and power to choose a response. In our response lies our growth and our happiness. Now, it's important to remember we choose the action, but the consequences often follow natural laws. We don't control everything.
Yeah, that's a crucial distinction. Our choices steer things, they don't dictate the universe. This connects perfectly to Covey's model, the visual one. The circle of concern and the circle of influence. The circle of concern is, well, everything you care about but can't directly control. Big stuff like global warming, or maybe just how other people drive, or politics.
Exactly. And reactive people, they tend to pour their energy, their worry, their complaints into that big circle of concern, which honestly just makes them feel like victims. It drains them. And ironically, it can even shrink their actual influence over time. Proactive people, on the other hand, focus their energy sharply on that smaller inner circle of influence. These are the things they genuinely can affect. Their own attitude, their work habits, their health, how they treat people, how they respond to, say, difficult feedback. And here's the really cool part. Covey says, when you consistently focus your energy inside that circle of influence, it starts to grow, it expands. So maybe you can't control the national economy, right? That's circle of concern. But you can control how you adapt your business strategy, or learn new skills, or manage your team's morale. That's influence. And doing that well can actually give you more sway later on.
It's also interesting how our language kind of gives us away, doesn't it? It shows whether we're operating from that reactive or proactive space, sometimes without us even noticing.
Yeah, language is a huge indicator. It reflects and even reinforces our mindset. Think about reactive phrases. He makes me so mad. Or there's nothing I can do. Or I have to do this. And then see how it shifts responsibility. It puts the control outside yourself.
Right. It's like you're just a puppet.
Exactly. But proactive language demonstrates ownership, agency. Things like, I control my own feelings, or let's look at our alternative, or I choose to, or I will. It might seem like just changing words, but Covey argues that consciously shifting your vocabulary actively starts to rewire how you think. It reinforces that sense of choice. It's like training your brain.
So wrapping this up for you, our listener, what's the big takeaway? Being proactive at its core is about being responsible. It's about taking that conscious, intentional control over your choices. And it's not usually one big dramatic change, right? It's more of a continuous thing built from small, everyday choices.
Absolutely. And for a really practical step, something you can try today. Think about transforming your daily complaints. Next time you feel that frustration bubbling up, maybe it's traffic, maybe a meeting ran late, maybe the Wi-Fi is slow, just pause. Ask yourself, okay, is this actually in my circle of influence? If it's truly not, make a conscious choice to let it go. Don't give it your energy. But if there is something, even tiny, that you can influence, identify one small, proactive step. So instead of just fuming about the traffic jam, maybe you decide to leave 10 minutes earlier tomorrow. Or find a podcast for the commute. That small shift gives you back the power.
That's a great, simple action. And by embracing this whole principle, Covey suggests, you really do step into that role of scriptwriter for your own life. You gain that power to design your future instead of just letting things happen to you.
Precisely. And building directly on this foundation of taking control, our next deep dive will tackle habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. That's all about getting really clear on your personal vision and purpose so that every proactive choice you make actually leads you where you truly want to go. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we explored habit 1. Be proactive, all about, taking ownership. Today we're taking what feels like a really crucial next step. Habit 2, begin with the end in mind.
It's a big shift.
Yeah, it really is. Moving from just driving the car to actually being the architect of the whole journey, right?
Exactly.
You know that feeling, maybe you've had it, where you're just so busy climbing that ladder like crazy?
Only to find it's against the wrong wall.
Precisely. The classic activity trap. Covey talks about that, and Peter Drucker nailed it too, didn't he? Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things.
That's the core of it. Are you busy with the right stuff?
So if we don't consciously, sketch out where we're headed, we kind of just let circumstances or other people decide for us.
Yeah, we default to their script.
Yeah. Okay, so our mission today, let's really unpack this idea, why it's overlooked, how to forge a real personal mission statement, and we'll even try a pretty powerful visualization exercise. So, habit 2, it really hinges on this simple principle. All things are created twice. What's so fundamental about that?
Well, it sounds simple, but it applies everywhere. There's always a mental creation. First, the idea, the plan, the blueprint.
Wait, thinking about dinner before you cook it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or designing a house before laying a single brick. That's the first creation. Then comes the physical. The second creation, building the house, cooking the meal.
And the quality of the second depends entirely on the first one. Makes sense.
Completely. A shaky blueprint means a shaky house.
Okay, so here's the kicker then. For our lives, who's doing that first creation? Who's drawing our blueprint?
And that's the critical question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Often we don't even realize it's happening. We're just living out scripts.
Scripts we got from where? Family? Culture?
All of the above. Or just reacting to whatever life throws at us. Habit 2 is about grabbing the pen back.
Taking control of that first creation.
Yes, being the proactive designer, not just reacting.
Okay, taking back the pen. I like that. It sounds empowering, but maybe a bit intimidating. How do you actually do that? What's the tool Covey gives us?
The main tool is developing a personal mission statement. Think of it like your personal constitution.
A constitution, like for a country.
Sort of, yeah.
It's
It's
like-
that foundational. An unchanging standard that guides your decisions, gives you stability, defines your ultimate purpose.
Okay, so it answers the big questions.
Right. Who do I want to be? That's character.
Mhm.
And what do I want to do? Contributions, achievements. It shifts your focus to deep principles, not just fleeting moods or circumstances. That's where real security comes from.
Principles like integrity, growth. But those can feel a bit abstract sometimes, can't they? How do we make it, like, practical?
Good point. It's not just about writing lofty words. You start by identifying your key life roles, maybe 5 to 7.
Like spouse, parent, professional, friend.
Exactly those kinds of things. Then, for each role, you define what success really looks like for you. What does extraordinary mean in that role?
And you base that on...
On timeless principles. Things like integrity, contribution, learning, compassion. Not on, say, getting praise or making a certain amount of money this year. Those things change. Principles endure.
This is an introspective process.
Very much so. It takes thought. But then that statement becomes a real tool, a filter. It helps you say no confidently to things that don't align and a strong yes to what truly matters.
Right, it gives you that clarity. Okay, Covey also has this visualization. It sounds pretty intense, actually, to get even deeper.
Ah, yes. The funeral exercise. It's powerful.
Calm, meditative voice. Okay, so let's try this briefly. Imagine you're attending a funeral years from now, and it's your own funeral. Just observe the scene, who's there. Then imagine 4 people get up to speak. A family member, a close friend, a work colleague, and maybe someone from a community group you were involved in. Now really think. What would you want them to honestly say about you? About your character, your contributions, the impact you had? What kind of person would they remember? Normal voice. It really forces you to confront your deepest values, doesn't it? Your true definition of a life well lived.
Cuts through the noise.
Yeah.
Gets right to the core.
Okay, so after that kind of deep reflection, how do we bring it back to, like, now? What are some immediate first steps?
Great question. 2 simple things. First, reverse engineer your legacy. Look at what came up in that visualization. Pick one thing, a quality, a contribution that really stood out.
Just one.
Just one to start. Then, identify one small concrete action you can take this week to live more in line with that. Make it tangible.
Okay, small step. I like it. And the second thing?
Second, create a mini mission statement. Don't try to do the whole thing at once. Just choose one of your life roles, maybe parent or team member.
Right.
Write just 1 to 3 sentences defining success or your core intention for that specific role. Put it somewhere you'll see it.
And use it as a guide for the week.
Exactly. Use it to make conscious choices just for that role this week. It starts building the muscle.
Got it. So habit 2, begin with the end in mind. It's really about becoming the creator, not just the creature of circumstance.
Living by design, not by default.
Making sure that ladder is leaning against the right wall before we start climbing like mad. We've done the leadership part, the blueprint.
The first creation.
So in our next deep dive, we shift gears. From leadership, designing the vision, to management habit 3. Put first things first.
Taking that blueprint and actually building day by day.
Yeah.
Execution.
Exactly. How do we translate the vision into daily action? That's next time. Until then, thanks for joining this deep dive. And maybe take a moment this week. Pick up that pen, even just for one small part of your life, and start scripting. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through something I think we all feel, that constant buzz, the feeling of being totally swamped.
Yeah, the busy trap, right? It's relentless.
Exactly. You know that feeling? It's like 7 a.m., your phone's already exploding. Notifications, emails, urgent demands.
Before you've even had coffee.
Right. And you're just reacting, playing catch-up all day, putting out fires, rushing around.
And by the end of the day, you're just spent,
Yeah.
totally drained.
You were definitely busy, no doubt about that. But the real question is, were you effective? Like, truly effective?
Or were you just bouncing from crisis to crisis?
Yeah. Instead of, actually building the life you want to live deliberately.
Well, that brings us right to habit 3, doesn't it? Put first things first.
It really does. This is where the rubber meets the road, where the vision we talked about gets executed. It's practical.
It's the bridge. And that famous quote, often linked to Covey, but building on Eisenhower.
Oh, yeah. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule.
But to schedule your priorities. Such a powerful shift in thinking.
It really is. And what really struck me from the sources
Let's say.
is how our time, like where the hours actually go, is the most honest mirror of our true priorities.
Absolutely. We can say family is number 1, or health, or whatever.
But then you look at the calendar, right?
And the calendar doesn't lie. It shows this. Sometimes uncomfortable gap between what we say we value and where we actually invest our time and energy.
It's that uncomfortable truth, that self-awareness, that's really the first step, isn't it? To actually taking back control.
It's crucial. Without seeing the misalignment, you can't fix it.
So, okay, if our time use often betrays us, how do we start making that shift? How do we fix it?
Well, the core tool our sources point to is Covey's time management matrix. It's simple, but really profound.
Right, the 4 quadrants. It's all about separating 2 key things, urgency and importance.
Exactly. Urgent things demand attention now. They're loud, often external pressures.
Like a ringing phone or a sudden deadline someone else set.
But importance, that's different. Importance relates to your mission, your values, your long-term goals. It often whispers, it doesn't shout.
And the big trap everyone falls into is mistaking the urgent stuff for the important stuff.
Constantly. We spend so much time in quadrant 1. That's the urgent and important stuff.
Crises, pressing problems, deadline-driven projects, the firefighting zone.
Yeah, it leads straight to stress, burnout, feeling like you're always behind.
Or we get sucked into quadrant 3.
The quadrant of deception. Urgent, yes, but not important.
All those interruptions, some meetings, maybe popular activities that feel pressing.
But they don't actually contribute to your core goals. You feel busy, maybe even productive in the moment,
Correct.
but ultimately it leads to feeling out of control, short-term focus.
And let's not forget quadrant 4, the escape hatch.
Right. Not urgent and not important. Trivia, time wasters, mindless scrolling, necessary downtime sometimes, but easy to get lost there.
But the real gold, the place where effectiveness lives, according to all our sources, that's quadrant 2.
Quadrant 2, the quadrant of quality. This is not urgent, but very important stuff.
This is where you work on your life, right? Not just in the thick of it.
Precisely. Things like proactive planning, relationship building, personal development, exercise, preventative maintenance.
Learning new skills, preparing for the future, things that don't have an immediate deadline breathing down your neck.
But focusing here, that's what yields long-term results. Vision, perspective, balance, discipline, control.
And critically, focusing on quadrant 2 actually shrinks quadrant A over time.
That's the magic. It's prevention. Planning ahead prevents future crises. Building relationships avoids misunderstandings down the line. Taking care of your health reduces emergencies.
It's that quadrant 2 revolution idea. You invest proactively, you deal with fewer fires later, but it's tough, isn't it? There's that urgency addiction.
Oh, definitely. That adrenaline rush from handling a crisis can feel good, almost heroic. It feels productive.
Yeah, while those quiet, important quadrant 2 things, they're so easy to push off. I'll do it later when I have more time.
Which, of course, never really comes unless you make it. But Q2 is the engine. It powers everything else, keeping your mission clear, sharpening your skills, renewing yourself.
Okay, so this sounds great in theory. How do we actually do it? How do we make space for Q2?
The sources really emphasize planning, but on a specific time frame. The week.
Not the day.
The day is often too rigid, too easily disrupted. The week gives you structure, but also flexibility. It's the sweet spot for managing priorities.
Okay, the weekly time frame. And the key tool is the weekly compass.
Yeah, think of it as a short planning section, maybe 20-30 minutes once a week. First step, reconnect with your key roles.
Like, what hats do you wear in life? Parent, spouse, team lead, maybe artist, friend, and importantly, self.
Exactly. Then for each role, you identify your big rocks.
The big rocks. Those are your most important quadrant 2 goals for the upcoming week, right? The 1 or 2 things that would make the biggest difference.
That's it. And here's the crucial part. You schedule those big rocks first.
Before anything else.
Before anything else. Block out time in your calendar for them. Treat them like important appointments you cannot miss.
Okay, lock in the big rocks. Then what?
Then you fit the other stuff, the sand and gravel, the smaller tasks, appointments, Q1 demands around those rocks.
I see. So the important stuff gets dedicated space. It doesn't get squeezed out by the urgent.
And this whole process gives you something else incredibly powerful.
What's that?
The permission, the reason to say no.
Ah, the liberating power of no, because you're not just saying no randomly.
You're saying no to unimportant, maybe urgent-seeming things because you've already said yes to your true priorities, to your big rocks. You have a prior commitment.
That makes sense. It's declining distractions to honor your deeper commitments. Okay, let's make this super practical for everyone listening right now.
Good idea. Actionable steps.
First, your Quadrant 2 discovery. Just grab a piece of paper or open a note app. List your main life roles. Parent, manager, self, whatever they are for you. Then, for each role, just brainstorm. What are those important but not urgent activities? What things, if you did them consistently, would have a huge positive impact?
Think about prevention, planning, relationship building, learning.
Exactly. Now, look at your list and circle just 1 or 2 for the whole week. The ones you know you've been neglecting but would make the biggest difference.
Okay, got those circled.
All right, second step. Schedule your first big rock. Don't wait. Open your calendar right now, digital, paper, whatever you use.
Do now.
Pick one of those circled Q2 activities, find a specific time slot for it in the coming week, and block it out. Schedule it. Give it a name.
Make it a real appointment with yourself. This isn't just theory, it's making a concrete commitment.
That simple act, scheduling it, is a huge first step. It's turning intention into action.
It really is. And fundamentally, that's what Habit 3 is all about.
Yeah.
It's self-discipline, it's integrity.
Living by your compass, your values.
Yeah, rather than just being pushed around by the clock, by the endless stream of urgent demands.
And the outcome. It's not just about getting more done. It's about peace of mind, feeling in control.
And a profound sense of effectiveness, knowing you're investing your life in what truly matters most to you. And that's something anyone can achieve.
Absolutely. It's accessible. Now, we focused here on mastering ourselves, that private victory. Next time, we shift gears.
Moving towards interdependence.
Exactly. We'll dive into Habit 4, think win-win. How do we build relationships where everyone benefits, based on mutual respect and trust?
It's a fascinating shift from me to we. Definitely don't want to miss that deep dive.
That's all for this episode of the Deep Dive Cast. Thanks for joining us. We hope you gained some valuable insights. Be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive into the world's best ideas. Until then, keep learning and growing.